Welcome to the session 3 on linear regression using the multiple features. So far, we have seen the linear regression using only one single feature based on the correlation between the target and the inputs what we are going to give to the model. In finding the correlation, we got the correlation is maximum in the age. So we have tried to mention the age versus charges of non-smoker especially. And there are also other parameters in our data set. So we are going to make a trial to give the multiple features and multiple inputs to the model and finding the charges of the person. So let us see how can we give the multiple features to our model. I am back with my code and we have drawn a line y equal to mx plus c where we have see that the m is a slope and c is a constant or intercept. Mx, the x, we have represented the age as well. So here we have replaced the x with the two variables what we are going to see. And the another attribute I am going to give is the BMI. The BMI is the next feature and the next feature in the correlation to the charges. So I am going to give the age and the BMI. So we have to combine the age and BMI with the line equation. So the line equation will be the W into age plus W into BMI plus B. So the x-axis has been divided into these two parts. So let us try to give the inputs and targets as well. Inputs and targets. I am going to give the non-smoker age and the BMI as well. And the non-smoker charges are the target values. So I have represented the age and the BMI in the x-axis plane. So I am going to fit the model, fit the input and targets. I am going to predict the inputs and I am going to choose the root mean square error also for the targets and prediction. Right? When I run the code, after giving the two features to our model, the loss will be the 4662. As you can see, the adding BMI doesn't seem to be produce much loss. Right? So as the BMI has a very weak correlation with the charges, especially for the non-smokers. So we can also visualize the relationship between, let's see the correlation between the non-smoker and the BMI. And the non-smoker and BMI is about 0.08. 0.0, that means 8% only the correlation will be. And we can also visualize the relationship between the three variables age, BMI and charges using a 3D scatter plot also. This 3D scatter plot determines the age, BMI and the charges. This was the BMI and charges. And there is no marks of creating any line between the charges and the BMI. And these are particularly not comes under linear regression. So there is no marks of chances to make a predicted line. So if we can see the 3D scatter plot of the age, BMI and the charges, it will look like this. Yes, and there is also some the model underfitting using this BMI and age always. So we are not able to make a predicted lines with those features. And you can see that it is harder to interpret a 3D scatter plot compared to a 2D scatter plot. So as we add more features, it becomes impossible to visualize all features at once, which is why we measure the correlation and loss. Let us also check the parameters of the model and what is the slope and intercept it has taken. It has divided the complete slope into 266,7 and intercept as usual minus 22,2293. Clearly the BMI has a much lower weightage and you can see why. It has a teeny contribution and even that is probably accidental. That is an important thing to keep in your mind, that you can't find a relationship that doesn't exist, no matter what machine learning technique or optimization algorithm you apply. Let's go one step further to add the final numeric column. There are some numeric columns and the categorical columns are there in our data set. So we are going to add the final numerical column, that is children, which seems to have some correlation with the charges. Let's see how much of correlation with the charges the children having. It was having 0.13, which was larger than BMI. So we can able to include these children as an x-axis. I'm going to see the first children versus ages. Children versus ages, it's slightly comparable. It's slightly very good comparable when compared to the BMI. Let's include the children, BMI and the age also to our model. And the actual loss was 4608. When we add the BMI and age, 4662. After adding the children also, 4608. So there is an increase, there is a decrease in the loss what we have done, right? So this decrease in loss represents the increase in accuracy. So once again we don't see a big reduction but in the loss, or even though it's greater than in case of BMI. Okay. See, in the non-smoker cases, the loss will be the 4608. But in the smoker's time, the loss will be the 11,355. And can we predict the values of the model? Yes, it was successfully predicted, and with a loss of about 11,355, that was very large enough to make the results very well. So the numerical columns what we are going to give the model was over. There are only the categorical values only. Using the categorical features for machine learning, so far we have seen the use of numerical values and giving those numerical values into our model for finding the target values of charges as well. Okay, since we can only perform the computation with the numbers, if we could use the categorical values like smoker, sex, and the region what they are living, and we can train a single model for the entire dataset. To use the categorical value columns, we simply need to convert them into numbers, and there are three common techniques for doing this. If a categorical value consists of only two categories, it is called a binary category. Then we can replace the values with zeros and ones. Suppose if we take an example of gender, the gender is usually contains the male and female. So we can, those category is called a binary category. We can replace the male as 0 and the female as 1 as well. And if a category column contains a more than two categories, we can perform one-hot encoding, which we are going to see further how this one-hot encoding will used in converting the categorical values into numerical values, and by creating a new column for each category with zeros and ones. And if the category is having the natural order like cold, neutral, warm, hot, then we converted the numbers into preserving the order. So these are called ordinals. So let us see an example of binary categories. The smoker has a category of just values, yes and no. Let's create a new column of smoker code which containing 0 and 1. 0 represents no and 1 represents 1. Yes. So SNS.bar plot of, I'm going to give the medical data DF and X equal to smoker and charges. Let's see how much of percentage smoker. There are about 30,000 plus in the smoker, and the non-smoker will be very as low as 8,000. So I'm going to create a dictionary file in the smoker code variable. In the dictionary file, I'm labeling no as 0 and yes as 1. So what I do means, I'm going to create a new column, what smoker code. From the medical DF, what the actual data, dot smoker, there is a column called smoker, which we are going to convert those values into zeros and ones. And I'm going to map that smoker column in the medical DF with the smoker code, what we have created a dictionary for that. Yes. If we have done successfully and we have changed the smoker codes with our dictionary. And let us try to find the correlation between those smoker codes with the actual target data. And there was about 78% correlation. So this was very high. So far we have doesn't see the categorical value to the target values. So these are some of the most important points to be noted for neglecting the categorical values. Since we neglected the categorical value of smokers, smoker yes or no. So that might be a great correlation between the charges. Let us see the medical DF once. And there is a smoker called yes or no, and we have created another column for smoker code, and which will impact the smoker column. Yes means 1, no means 0. Yes means 1 and no means 0. So in that way you can convert those categorical values into numerical values, and let us try to include those values into our model. I'm going to include the smoker code column which I have created just now to our model, and it has reduced the loss of 6056. From the previous it was about 11,355 and it was reduced to 6056. It's almost by 50%. This is an important lesson to never ignore the categorical value. So let us try to adding the gender column as well. I'm going to convert the female as 0 and male as 1. And I'm going to map the sex code and with the sex column. And there is a correlation of 0.05, and which was slightly less than compared to the smoker codes. As you can expect, the loss of 6056. In the previous one, 6056.43. In the present one, 6056.10. Lightly. As you might expect, that doesn't have a significant impact on the side. And another one of using the conversion of categorical value to numerical values is one-hot encoding. One-hot encoding is nothing but convert the categorical values by creating a new index separately. So suppose assume that I'm having some of the data having the index number from 1 to 3 and the categorical column cat A, cat B, cat C. So what I have do this, I'm going to make a special column for cat A, cat B and cat C. Cat A, cat B, cat C. And whenever this index value encounters the cat A value, it encode it with a 1 and remaining columns as 0. Whenever the index 2 will encounters the cat B value in the column, it encode with a 1 and remaining columns as 0. So in this way we can able to create one-hot encoding using the values in the form of binary bits. Okay, let us try to make the regions. The region with the charges and going to perform the one-hot encoding with the regions. We are having the southwest, southeast, northwest and northeast regions as well. I'm going to import the pre-processing and the computer can able to do one-hot encoder. One-hot encoder is a technique which I have mentioned this, and we doesn't do manually, and there is a pre-processing technique for use this one-hot encoder. Let me import that. And I'm going to transform that with the medical DF as well, and going to create a new columns for one-hot encoding, and that's done. There are 4 columns has been created for me, and if you see the southwest was labeled as 1.0 and the remaining 3 columns has been labeled as zeros. The southwest has labeled as 1 and remaining was 0. In this way the one-hot encoding will enables you to convert the categorical values into the numerical values. Let's include those 4 columns in our model as well. That was about 6041. In the previous 6056. So there is a reduce in the loss what we have expected. So using these categorical values can able to reduce the loss and increase the model accuracy. So there is a few steps away to improve our model as well. So far we have seen and we have concentrated on reducing the loss to our model as well. So what the ways to increase the model, increase the accuracy of our model? Let's discuss and apply some of the improvements to run our model more accuracy. The one of the most important in linear regression to improve our accuracy is the feature scaling. Feature scaling is nothing but to compare the importance of each feature in the model. Our first instant might be the compare of their weights. So let us compare the coefficient of the model first and intercept first. And in the coefficient you can able to see 256, 339 and so on. It was completely depend on the correlation what the column has maintaining. And going to weight, let's see the weights. The feature age having the weight of 256 BMI having 339, and the smoker having the large weight of 23,848. It will calculate based on these features and weight. So in this feature scaling, we are going to concentrate on the highest weighted feature in our data, in our model. So when it seems to be BMI in the northeast having a higher weight than the age, keep in mind that the range of values of BMI is limited to 15 to or 40, and the northeast column only takes the values and 0 and 1. So because different columns have different ranges, right, we run in these two issues. We can't compare the weights of different columns to identify which features are important. For this reason, it is common practice to scale or standardize the values in numerical column by subtracting the mean and dividing by the standard deviation. And the formulas for the standardization was z equal to x minus mu by delta with the mean and the standard deviation. We can apply this so far using the standard scalar method. And let us check once the medical DF data and going to import the standard scalar which from in the skill and pre-processing. And I'm going to first concentrate on the high weighted features, that is age, BMI and children, which was numerical values. Okay, and applied the standard scalar. Let us see the scalar mean and the scalar variance. The scalar mean will be 39 for age, 30 per BMI and 1 per children. And the variance will be 197 for age, 37 for BMI and 1.45 for children. So now we can scale the data as follows. We can scale the weighted data to transform the medical of numerical columns. So these can be used to combine with the categorical data also. Let us see the categorical data also. I'm going to concatenate the scaled inputs with the categorical data, and the target I'm going to give is medical df.charges, which was ultimate our target, and create and train up again the linear regression model and fits the inputs and targets and making the predictions as well. And the loss will be the 6041, which will be comparable less than the previous one. So what I have done means we have standardized the inputs as well. We have scaled the inputs based on the weights and features. So as you can see now, the most important features in this data set will be the age, smoker and the BMI. Age, smoker and the BMI. The smoker code will be the 23,000 and the age will be a 3607 and BMI will be the 2067. So these are the most important features in our creating the model. And another thing was creating a test set. Test set is nothing but the splitting of this set, entire data set into test set and the train set. So there is a model selection. This model selection, I'm going to import the train test split, input trains and input test. Going to make the split as train and test. That train is nothing but the values what we are going to implement in improving our model, and the test is nothing but improved model is to be tested on those values. It's like nothing but if you are going to prepare for an exam, there is an important questions you have listed in your preparation. So reading those important questions before attempting the exam is known as the test set. And the questions what you have got on the exam, what you have write in the exam is known as the train set. There might be little comparison between the train set and the test set. I'm going to give the inputs of train and test data. Finally, I've got a test loss of 5246 after splitting the data. Let's compare with this the training loss. The training loss will be the 6129. Can you explain why the training loss is lower than the test loss? We will discuss in a lot about in the future tutorials. And what we have done till now in the logistic regression parts was explore the data and finding the correlation between the inputs and the targets, right? And pick up the right model, loss function and optimizer for the problem at hand. We have seen different models as well. So I created, I'm taken the XGB booster for finding the correlation and model selection of linear regression model, etc. The scalar numerical values and one hot encoding to convert the categorical data. And use of categorical data is also an important thing in order to reduce the root mean square error in your model. So set aside a test set and split the data into the test set and the training set. This will impact much in your model training and selection. And train the model. We have trained the model using the standard scalar method and feature scaling method, which we are going to pre-process the data by means of their features and weights, and make predictions on the test set and compute the loss, and make predicted the test. I have test set of 5246 and predicted the training loss of 6129. So this was pretty much cool than what we have done. And so we will apply this process to several problems in the future tutorial. In the future tutorial, you can be able to see the logistic regression, and so far we have seen only the linear regression, and in upcoming sessions we are going to see the logistic regression, how the logistic regression will works on a real-time data set. So I hope this session will be useful to the people who are able to understand the linear regression by solving a real-time problem in the data science field. Okay, happy learning. Thank you.